Gen Z, they're drinking less beer? Or are they? Here's the thing. A lot of people are saying that Gen Z are not drinking enough alcohol and they're a bunch of losers, right? We hear this shit all the time. Every single generation throughout the history of society has talked shit about the youngest generation coming of age, right? It always happens. This generation doesn't want to work anymore. This generation can read. They're ruining the goddamn society. The printing press is going to bring down the Germany. Like, the same crap has been happening since Plato days. It's all bullshit. People are gonna be fine. The next generation is gonna be fine. You know what the common denominator is? Is when you're a teenager and when you're in your 20s, you're kind of a shithead. And that's just the end of it. You don't have enough life experience to not be a shithead. I was a shithead, still am, but I'm less of one now, but I 100% was that shithead in the 20s. But you know what? You just need experience. Sometimes you just need responsibility foisted upon you, and people grow, and we mature, and we take on things, and it's fine. Gen Z's not ruining America. They're not ruining society. You know what they're doing different? Nothing than any other generation. Okay, they're drinking a little bit less alcohol, but you know what they're still doing? Getting fucked up. You know what every generation from the beginning of time has done? Got fucked up. We all get high or drunk or blitzed or we stare at our screens too long. Gen Z has just decided, you know what? I got screwed over by COVID. I have crippling social anxiety as a result. My formative party years were stripped from me without choice. I've never really developed that. I don't have a good paying job. I can't afford to go out to bars and buy $15 cocktails and actually have 3 or 4 of them and put on a good buzz on a Friday night with my friends. I'm just gonna stay home and get fucked up on whippets and do fucking weed and stare at my computer screen or my phone screen. It's screens, it's cannabis, and it's other hard drugs are actually on a rise within Gen Z. You're seeing pills, opioids, benzos, nitrous. So I'm not casting blame. This is the generation that's coming from Gen X, the king of cocaine, if you will. So like, of course Gen Z is gonna be into some hard shit. So it's cool, it's whatever. But I just want people to know everything's fine. This generation's not collapsing society. People wanna work. They just wanna also be fucking paid so they can live. But people have always worked from forever. People wanna learn, people are curious. People get fucked up, people have fun. Everything is fine, it's always been fine. The younger generation is fine. There's nothing that drives me more insane than when I'm talking to other business owners and they give me that fucking bullshit line. This generation doesn't wanna work anymore. I'll clap back on that shit in a fucking heartbeat. I sat down with a couple relatively large company owners back in the spring and they started feeding me this bullshit. And it's just so easy to shut it down. It's just not hard. You just remind them of what they were like when they were that age. Did you want to work hard when you're 22? Did you want to work overnights? Did you want to do manual labor for $18 an hour? Fuck no, man. But they'll get there. People will get there and it's going to be okay. We just need to teach people. We need to have patience. And we got to understand that when you're in your 20s, you're going to wash out of a shitload of jobs. You don't just slide into a job and just stick there forever anymore, especially when you're 22. You're like, oh yeah, brewing beer sounds great. And then you bring them into the brewery and they realize that it's not actually a party. You don't just get to get fucked up all the time, nor do you want to just get fucked up all the time because what kind of life is that? You actually have to work hard. And they're like, oh, this is just a factory job. They're like, yeah. So then they quit and then it's okay, but some don't. And that's great. And the ones that quit, you know what? They go on to the next thing and then maybe the next thing, but eventually they find the thing or they just keep bouncing around and, you know, they're ne'er-do-wells and they don't do that great. But every generation has those too. I mean, look at JD Vance. He fucks couches, but somehow he's still successful. So, you know, whatever.